Thanks for listening to In the Game with Elliot. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on the latest episodes. Hey guys, this is episode 7 of In the Game with Elliot. I'm Elliot Georgiadis, and recently I got a glimpse of what game day looks like for Houston Astros sideline reporter Julia Morales-Clark. I had the chance to chat with her while she was sitting in the seats at the ballpark, which I thought was pretty cool. She was getting ready for some pregame interviews before the Astros took on the Colorado Rockies that afternoon. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. You have the coolest background for this right now.
Oh, this is a mess of a background. I am having a day. Is my Wi-Fi good right here? Because I could probably move down.
No, you're in a good spot.
I mean, it's Zoom.
I can hear you.
It's Zoom. This is what we're dealing with. This is what we do. So, okay, let's do this. So sorry. It is just baseball season. So this is my life in baseball season. It's like, and then I kind of picked a morning where I thought it'd be quiet. And like, of course not. I get an email. It's like, how about we do this interview? And we've been meaning to do this. This is a good day for it. I'm like, what? Okay. We just got home from last night's game.
No, I think this is awesome to kind of see like what everything is you've got going on. So tell me then, right now in the midst of a really hectic season, what is a day like for you? I mean, I can't imagine any day is normal in terms of consistency, but like on a game day, I don't know. You tell me, like on a game day, what do you do? Like, what is this what's happening all the time?
But what is normal? Yes, this is what is happening all the time. The crazy thing is that we're not traveling. And so it's usually even more crazy than what it is right now.
Right.
I've got, there's things that are happening every day that are different. And that's the fun part about this job, right? Mm-hmm. That's why we love it so much. So to give you an example, 7:00 game, I usually arrive around two-ish in the area, depending on just how much we have going that day. Sometimes I've got to shoot our weekly show. Sometimes I've got some interviews lined up early, but I always have to talk to players, before a game. And then I always talk to the manager before a game. And that all kind of happens in the 3-ish, 4-ish range. And then I'm hanging out a lot. I'm trying to get stories from the broadcast, little one-off conversations, trying to just catch up with guys, see what's going on. Maybe Michael Brantley got tackled at second like he did the other day, and I need to check on him to make sure he's feeling all right. All that happens during that time. And then, it's talking to my producers, talking to Todd Callis and Jeff Blum, our announcers, about those story ideas and kind of bringing it all together. And how are we going to open the show? What are our topics that we're going to hit at the top? And what are our priorities of getting angles and storylines in and graphics that we want the viewers to see? All that comes together. There's like a dinner thrown in there sometimes. Maybe I have time to eat, and then I have to probably adjust my makeup or, make myself look like I'm ready for TV. Pre-game starts at 6:30, and this is where the fun part is. Like, you can't be late. Like, live TV is
no,
you cannot be late. And also, like, the first pitch is thrown at 7:10. Like, I cannot be late for any of this. So it's just like it's people will ask for pictures and they'll want to stop and chat when I run into fans, and I'm like, I gotta go. But I'm serious when I say that. Like, I really have to go because like they're not going to wait on me. Like, Lance McCullers Jr. is on the mound. He is not going to step off and be like, hang on, Julia's not in her spot yet. Like, that's not going to happen. So it gets a little bit of, it's just that adrenaline rush of just like, hey, we're counting down to a show, counting down to a game. And once all that starts, once pregame starts, we're off and running. We're on the air. And you don't look back, right? And then you're in it until it's over. I've got post-game duties. I get all the interviews there. Once it's all wrapped up, we put a bow on it, and I'm home. And whether that means 11 o'clock on an early game or 1:30 in the morning for a really late game, like, you just never know. Again, that's the fun part of the job.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what's so different about baseball is because you have a really unique schedule compared to other national sports leagues, because you're doing
all
this
sports,
repeatedly, like
every single day.
Yeah. How do you manage when you've got a new game coming up, a new lineup coming up, because you're everything you just described, you've got to rinse, repeat, and do the next day, but it's a whole new system. Does that get hard?
So I keep talking about how everything's different. Every day is different. It is, but like, you're so right. It's not, and just like the fact that I have to go to the ballpark every single day. There's not weekends. I don't get Fridays off.
Right.
And it is so unlike the NBA season, their season's crazy. Every week looks completely different. There could be a couple of games in the week. There could be back to back. There could be, it's just, but they do have days off. And then, of course, NFL is very regimented. It's, every Sunday there's a game. Sometimes there's a Thursday game and that just kind of throws everybody off. I'm like, oh, that's cute. And then they travel one week and then they're home one week. And in baseball, when I'm traveling with the team, which I did up until the pandemic, it is every 3 days you're gone, and you could be in Seattle, you could be in Phoenix, you could be in New York. I memean, the climates are all different.
Oh my gosh.
So you got to take your vitamin C. You've got to, you're not sleeping well. You're in different time zones. It just goes on and on with the craziness of the travel. But yeah, I mean, managing was hard in the beginning. It was really hard because it was so many games in such a short amount of time. You look up and the year is gone, right? It's like, what happened to 2013? What happened to 2014? Like all of a sudden, that was back when the team wasn't very good. And we knew that the end of the season was the end of September. Now it's the end of October. So, and now because so many more people care and it's such a bigger deal because the team is so great that like we never really stop, right? It's like there's a couple of months where it's quiet. But when you're celebrating a parade, that doesn't stop. Or yes, a World Series championship, that doesn't stop. So that didn't stop in 2017, going right into 2018. I'm at spring training Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day to November 1st, it's all you're thinking about. It's all you're doing. And it was hard in the beginning. It was very hard. Just like, it was a different tired. And even if I was in my 20s, I was still like finding myself exhausted at times. So, you can imagine what it's like to be a professional athlete and trying to exert the absolute every ounce of energy in your body to be the best you can possibly be and hit pitches that are coming in at 101 miles per hour. Like I can barely even like wear heels when I'm that tired. So I can't even imagine. But it's grueling. It's a tough sport and it's tough for all those who cover it as well.
Well, yeah. And like you said, since the team's good now, since they do well, it's changed your schedule. I mean, you've been with the team for a long time. What was that like in 2017 for them to, go all the way and win the World Series?
So fun. And it was because my first year was in 2013. I just mentioned that, and that was a hard year for a lot of reasons. It was a hard year because it was my first year for a regional sports network covering one team, one sport. So I was transitioning from the sports reporter world where you do a lot of different things. I did have weekends off, all that life I kind of left and jumped into this world. Then the team was struggling and it was hard. In the beginning, it was fun. It was new. We were all kind of fresh. And then, I mean, it wasn't long before the team was completely out of it, like had no shot at making the playoffs. I'm talking, we had 100 games to go. So how do you make it interesting? How do you bring stories to the fans? And you have guys who are not having great games. Well, we made the best of it. And we focused on, the guys that were coming up, guys who did get their first strikeouts, first hits. And all that was great. It taught me so much though about how to really find different ways to ask questions and find stories. And all that was just, it was a very real learning experience for me that got me to where I am now, which I'm so grateful for. My timing was impeccable. So, I have to explain what 2013 was like just to kind of show how incredible 2017 was, because that team was easy to cover. They won every day. They won 100 games. They, it was just like the pitching was good. The offense was outstanding. We had several different stars on the team. So many great storylines every day just to pick from. It's like, well, what do we want to talk about today? The fact that they lead the league in this, or they lead the league in that. And, and then to win the whole thing in a city where they've been so distraught when it comes to some sports championships and being on the wrong side of them a lot. And I wasn't around for the Rockets to win back-to-back championships, but to hear people talk about the parades and all that, like that was real. It was exactly how they described it. And then, going through Hurricane Harvey and the downs of that, and like just the lows of how everyone is feeling and what we were watching with our neighbors and who was struggling with what, and then to kind of bring it all together and be able to celebrate together was just something I'll never ever forget.
Yeah. Is there one moment for maybe those last couple of weeks that really sticks out in your mind that you're there and you're like, I can't believe this is happening?
Oh, there's a bunch. So one game that will always stand out to me is the first game back at Minute Maid Park after Harvey. So during Harvey, we were on a road trip and we were told, well, we couldn't get back to Houston. Nobody could. The airports were closed. And we were told that there was a chance that we'd be on the road for 21 straight days. And we were,
Wow.
I was like, okay, like, I still don't know if my house is flooded, right? So like,
Mm-hmm.
we all had that going on. We were away from our families, away from our friends, and trying to play baseball every day and trying to put on good shows. So that, that all happens. We finally do get home and there's a day off there where, everyone can kind of reorganize their lives and figure out what they need to do and who needs help. We all come back together and we can get into Minute Maid Park. And they were worried about people trying to drive through the streets to get here. And I remember Mayor Turner was very clear about, like, be safe. Like, if please don't do anything that you shouldn't be doing. But those who could get to the ballpark, we're going to open it up. The Mets are in town. We had a doubleheader, and they came out and exploded offensively in the first inning. George Springer hits a huge home run, taps the Houston Strong patch that they had just put on their uniforms, and that is like a moment that will always live in my brain, right? And just like, and that was in September. So there were a lot of great moments after that. It was clinching that the division that year with Justin Verlander pitching, who had just joined the team, and he was fantastic, and all kind of leading into what we didn't know, but what was going to be an incredible postseason, right? I mean, it was like we knew it was a special team because of all that was happening, and like we hadn't even got to playoffs yet. So yeah, it was the guys stepping up. It was the fact that there was just no quit in them. There was an awful stretch in August, actually, where they kind of just stumbled over themselves. No fear really that they were going to lose the division at that point, but the A's were, trying to work their way back in it. But then I'm telling you, it was like that game that I just mentioned against the Mets. It was that doubleheader, and Charlie Morton pitched great that day. And it was just, I'll remember all those little details, right? It was just like that one will stick in my mind.
Wow, that's so cool. How many times doing what you do have you gotten caught up in a victory tub dump? Because I have to imagine there was probably a lot of victory dumping of things that whole season.
Yeah. So honestly, there were a lot when the team wasn't as good, because it was so exciting to win a game. They were so excited to have big moments because they never had them, right? Like, it was, there was 2 weeks would go by and they would win a couple games here and there, but nobody would do anything spectacular. But when it was, I remember Jared Cozart was a guy that had just been called up, someone they were very excited about. I think he had like 7 no-hit innings and had to come out. His pitch count was way too high, but like, that was a crazy celebration. It was like they'd won the World Series, the way that the Gatorade was flying. So an example of what things were like, get to 2017, there was some walk-off wins, but they knew how to win by then. So there were a couple of big ones. Like, when they went for it, they really went for it. And, Tony Kemp was usually behind it. George Springer was usually behind it. But I'm pretty good at avoiding those. I know what to do. I know which angle to stand at. I'm actually involved now in some of them for the rookies that come up and have great games. I know exactly how to position them so that they can't see it coming. And I'll watch. Like, they do a lot of it at home plate now for walk-offs. So I'm paying attention. So the more water I see being thrown up in the air at home plate means less water that comes my way during the interview. So, but if I don't see a lot of it, I'm like, okay, there's still a tub full somewhere. I got to keep my eye out. Something. So, but it's part of it. It's a lot of fun, and I actually enjoy it when I do actually, accidentally get caught up in it.
Yeah. Well, it seems like, just from following you, and it just seems like you're part of such a great team there with the organization and the players and the management. It seems really wonderful, the things that you've gotten to experience with them. And I actually, I had listened to you speak on that panel for Women in Sports and Events, and you had been talking about your daughter. And I know that you just had a little girl this last year. Congratulations. How's that been? Because I saw that video that the team made for you when you announced, which I thought was so adorable. So how has that been for you this last year?
Awesome. And I was very scared of it, to be completely honest. And I know a lot of women out there are, so I want to be very honest about that. Like, I was worried. I didn't know what kind of mom I was going to be. I didn't know, how I was going to balance work and mom life, but I don't think anyone does, right? People feel good about it. People may be more confident about it, but no, until you've done it, you have no idea what you're doing. But this job is hard. I just got finished explaining to you the crazy schedule and the travel and the long hours. And So how was I going to bring a little one into my life and be able to share enough of myself with her, or, you know, my babies, and also do really good work. I take a lot of pride in my work. I've worked really hard to get here, and I'm not ready to give it up. And
Mm-hmm.
I really see some exciting things for myself in the future. So how do I make it all work? And so, yeah, there was some fear. There was actually, I waited maybe a little longer than I deep down really wanted to get to this point. And, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it all worked out. She is here. She is the most fabulous thing that's ever happened to me. And I'm obsessed with her. I got really lucky. She's a sleeper. So this whole answer might be completely different if my baby didn't know how to sleep. But everything, you know, everything is going really well so far. You mentioned the team and the video they did. Everyone's so supportive, and the organization is supportive, and AT&T Sportsnet is supportive. And that's what's important. And I hope that, I know it's not the way for everyone, and
Mm-hmm.
that women have to make decisions, and women have to leave work and not be paid. I mean, there's so much that happens in the working world that we may not be completely aware of. So it does break my heart that people do have to deal with it and struggle with it, because we shouldn't have to. And I am extremely lucky, extremely blessed to be in a position where I'm doing it all right now. I have no idea what it's going to look like next year. You know, my baby's going to be a little bit older. Do I have more? You know, do I get back on the road and travel as much? I don't know, but it's, you know, I can't beat myself up trying to figure it all out today
Yeah.
on, you know, August, whatever, as, you know, just kind of day by day, but it's fun.
Oh, you cut out there for just a second.
I'm tired. Can you see me? I was going to say, I'm trying to put on concealer so I can look
Oh,
like I'm
bless
not
your
as tired
heart.
as I really am, but
Well, you look
it's so much fun.
fabulous. You look great. You
Thank
don't
you.
look like somebody who had a baby this year and who has this crazy schedule and who's trying to be responsible for. That's what blows my mind. Like just being responsible for another like human's life. So props
Yes.
to you for everything that you've got with this job, and doing that as well, I think is really wonderful. So I'm so glad to get to hear about all these crazy, awesome, fun, exciting things that you've got going on and going on with the team. I have 10 questions that I kind of end with everybody, because I know you've got another interview that you're heading to. 10 questions, whatever pops into your head. Okay.
Okay, ready.
Ready? All right. Question number 1 is, what makes you smile?
Valerie. Valerie smile. She has 2 teeth right now, and it's ridiculous when that girl opens her mouth. They look like little Bugs Bunny teeth.
Oh,
I can't help but not smile.
that's so sweet. All right. Number 2, what is your favorite word?
Oh, what do I say a lot of? It's probably embarrassing of what I say a lot of. It's probably like or something that I don't need to say. What is my favorite word? I say yes a lot, like YAS. That's probably my favorite. Yes.
Yes.
You
I
got to
love
say it
it.
like that though.
That's a good. I know.
Okay, I'm gonna say that's my favorite because I say that a lot.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a good one. That's a fun one. That's a unique one. Number 3 is, what is your favorite smell?
Oh, it's what are these questions you're throwing at me? Okay, I love the smell of freshly cut grass, but
Yes.
I also love
Yes.
yes. I'm an outdoorsy girl, and there's something about that. In the summer, my favorite
Hmm.
time of year. But yeah, I mean, I love flowers
No.
too. I mean, my
Yeah.
husband gets me some flowers and all in those.
Oh,
Yes,
nice. No, I'm with you on the
yeah, those are
outdoorsy
good.
smell. I'm in Ohio right now and it's been pouring rain all morning, but I love the smell of
Mm,
rain. You know, like a
yeah, no, it
fresh,
does.
clean rain. That's a good one.
Sure, with
Number
you.
4, what song always fires you up?
Well, anything by Beyonce.
Mm.
Um, there's a lot of Houston rap on my playlist. Now, I may not look like I'm into Houston rap, but I really am. So, I mean, any of them, Bun B, Slim Thug, Paul Wall, and it's all
Oh,
stuff from like my era too. So there's a lot of H-Town songs that come up on the playlist that will really get me going. So yeah.
really? Is that something everybody knows about you that you work with? Is that like common knowledge or?
Yeah, people know it. I mean, I fangirl out when I see any of those guys. Trade the truth when they come out and throw the first pitch, or when they're walking around. I'm like, oh, there's my guy. I mean, I'm totally
You're
into
into
it
it?
because that's
Yeah.
my era of music. Like I was coming
Hmm.
up and they were hot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jam out.
I do. I
Okay.
do.
Number 5 is, what is something everyone loves but you hate?
The wave?
Oh, really? You're not into it?
No, not at all.
So
Done
you
with the
never
wave.
jump on the wave at the stadium if it gets going?
No, it goes behind me, and every time I'm like, no, not again.
Like,
No
I don't see it.
way.
I'm busy. I'm working. I'm writing notes. I don't. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I don't I
That's
don't
okay.
love hot dogs too. And everybody at the ballpark comes and they're like, oh, I have to have my hot dog. And I'm like,
Oh, that is kind of funny
not
because
into that.
that's a thing. A ballpark hot dog is a thing.
Right. The thing.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm just hot dogged out.
that is
That
probably
happens.
very true. You spent a lot of time there, so makes sense. Next one is, what is the most rebellious thing you did as a teenager?
Yeah. I mean, driving without my license, that wasn't good. I'm from the country. We did stuff like that, you know. Um,
So
I
it
wasn't,
wasn't as rebellious.
I mean, it
I mean,
was, but
yeah.
it's
Did
not
your parents
exact.
know?
No,
Oh,
no. I drove everywhere without my license.
really?
Well, it's the country. Okay, so I'm not getting on the highways and like driving in
Okay.
Houston traffic. like I'm on
Okay.
like country roads, so I wasn't doing anything that was, life threatening. Put
Okay.
it that way.
All right. That works. That works. What is one of your guilty pleasures?
Anything Sour Patch Kids and like rom-coms.
What's your favorite rom-com?
I mean, The Wedding Planner, Never Been Kissed. I could go on. There's a
Yeah.
bunch. Anything with
I
Matthew McConaughey in it, usually.
Yeah, those are good ones. I was a psychology teacher for a long time before I got into this, and none of my students ever knew what Hitch was. Like, they never watched
Oh, that's
Hitch.
a good one. That's a good one.
How do you, it's first of all, it's on TV like all the time, but they're like,
Yeah.
no, I have never seen it. It's like, oh, you guys missed out on good
Wow.
rom-coms. I
That's a good
know.
one.
Lame.
Hmm.
Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes with chocolate chips.
Ooh, nice. I like chocolate chips on mine too. And then number 9, what are 3 things you must do every day? Which for you, I'm so curious to know what yours are.
Well, am I working? Is this a normal work day? Like, I'm getting old, so I have to put on some kind of sunscreen.
Ooh, good
Um,
move. No, everybody should do that.
should do that. I have to do some kind of workout. I'm a workout person. So whether it's a long run or hit the gym or just get in the floor and do abs for a second, I've worked out my entire life. So something has to be done in order for me to have a good day. When I'm
Yep.
traveling, I'm definitely working out on the road, seeing the sights. Coffee, black coffee.
Ooh, those are all excellent ones. I like them. And then the last question is, if you were not doing what you are doing, what's another profession that you would like to try?
I would open up a dance studio or a yoga studio or Pilates or bar. I mean, it would be in the exercise world. Going back to my last answer, I would love to have my own place and teach dance. Maybe an aerobics instructor.
Oh,
Maybe I'll do jazzercise when I retire. I'll teach jazzercise.
that's fun.
I
In the
just
town I
love
live right
it.
now, I run in the morning sometimes and it's like 5:30 in the morning and I go past this jazzercise place and there's like women in there like
It's
getting
still
it
doing.
on
They're
at
still
5:30
doing
in the
it.
morning.
Okay,
Yes.
good to know. Good to know that it's still going
So that
strong.
could,
Yeah, no,
yes.
I would love to do something like that.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I so appreciate getting some of your time this morning because, like
Yes,
I said, you have so much going on. And I know you've got an interview after this for like, real work, real job stuff.
several
So,
interviews. I know. Day
yeah.
games, they like packed it on me, but we'll start with the manager next. I'm so glad I did this, though. I'm really glad we got to catch up. So anytime, you holler at me.
Thank you so much, Julia. Have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you later.
Bye. Thanks again.
Thanks again for listening to this episode of In the Game with Elliot. Be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Also, check out In the Game with Elliot on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, or watch full episodes on the YouTube channel.